All right, we are going to call to order the January 30th, 2025 regular Park Board meeting, and let's all stand for the pledge. Liberty and justice for all. All right, Monica, can we get the roll call, please?
President Gibson, absent. Vice President Ruffing.
Here.
Commissioner Anzier.
Here.
Commissioner Jacks.
Here.
Commissioner Janner.
Here.
Commissioner Risvold.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
Do we have any matters for the public?
We do not.
Thank you. All right, will you please read the consent agenda?
Item 3.1, approved December 2024 disbursements in the amount of $3,904,923.21. 3.2, approved December 2024 disbursements made through the Bank of America Purchasing Card Program in the amount of $340,347.92. 3.3, approved January 9th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. 3.4, award the contract for the 2025 teacher bid, base bid to Game Day Teamwear LLC in the amount of $68,479.91. 3.5, award the contract for the 2025 t-shirt bid alternate number 1 to TPS Sports in the amount of $26,017.22. 3.92. I apologize. 3.6, approve the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement purchased through Dell Technologies in the amount of $83,148. That is all.
Thank you. Should any items be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately? Seeing none.
Move to accept the consent agenda items 3.1 through 3.6.
Second.
Roll call.
Vice President Ruffing.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Risvold.
Yes.
Commissioner Anzier.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks.
Yes.
Commissioner Janner.
Yes.
Move to approve the consent agenda items 3.1 through 3.6.
Do we need a second? Second.
Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
So keep going. Okay, there's no unfinished business as far as I know, and so we'll go forward to discussion and new business, starting with the 2023 to 2025 strategic plan progress update.
And I'll take that one, thank you. Early in 2023, the board adopted the 2023 through 2025 strategic plan, identifying strategic goals and related tasks. Each year on a semi-annual basis, staff provides a progress update on the goals. The most recent update outlining progress through the end of 2024 was included in the January 17th weekly packet and is included as a discussion item for tonight's meeting. A few of the highlights from the update that I'd like to touch upon tonight include that the final indoor recreation space needs assessment report was approved on December 12th last year. A complete copy of the report and a condensed snapshot report are posted on the Park District's website. Staff are reviewing the information gathered and resident input received through the assessment and have started implementing recommendations from the study to support community needs for indoor recreation space through the use of existing facilities and the potential development of future space. 13 volunteer park projects have been identified thus far for 2025, the calendar year, across all 3 parks divisions. The district completed 9 larger park volunteer projects in 2024. The district's volunteer manager is actively seeking groups or individuals to support these projects, which include Eagle Scout opportunities. So if you happen to know any groups in the community that might be interested, please send them our way. Succession planning interviews with full-time marketing staff occurred in the last quarter of 2024. All remaining departments will be interviewed in the same format in 2025. The information gathered is being used to develop growth opportunities for staff to benefit both the individual as well as the position that they work in. The feedback gathered will also be used in the development of future department goals. The new program request form, which is located on the district's website, continues to be utilized by the community for submitting program ideas. 19 new program ideas were submitted in the last quarter of 2024. A variety of language classes have been introduced, including Japanese, in addition to health and wellness programs and retirement seminars. Golf parks, trades, and custodial have started the implementation of the new computerized maintenance management system software, OpenGov. The new software will greatly enhance the use of mobile technology to create greater administrative and maintenance efficiencies. Also, the When to Work application has been expanded beyond Centennial Beach and is now used in several departments within recreation. The application allows for more efficient staff scheduling, better communication, and overall ease of use for staff on mobile devices. In 2024, the Park District, in partnership with DuPage County, completed approximately $1 million in shoreline stabilization projects at Brighton Ridge Park, Stanford Meadows, and the Riverwalk West branch of the DuPage River. The district also received a $425,000 DCEO grant through an Illinois capital bill with the support of Senator Ellman for playground renovation projects at Springfield Park and Winding Creek Park. We are also in the process of formulating a Green Infrastructure Grant Opportunities, or GIGO, agreement in anticipation of receiving funding to support the Community Garden Plots project this year. The district added a Google Translate ad to key marketing pieces, including the seasonal events card and monthly rec news, e-blast, and on Program Guide's webpage to promote the availability of this tool. We continue to collaborate with the dementia-friendly Naperville and Senior Task Force by providing facility space for the expansion of their Memory Cafe program at the Fort Hill Activity Center, as well as monthly movies geared towards individuals with dementia at the Alfred Rubin Riverwalk Community Center. And partnerships created and sustained by the way of the district sponsorship and advertising program remain strong. The district had its best year yet in 2024, bringing in more than $354,000 in total revenue with 43 new partners. We also have a collaboration with Loaves and Fishes on composting opportunities in 2025, and that is expected to be introduced early this year. And then also collaboration opportunities with Girl Scouts of Greater Chicago is currently being explored, and the district is also engaging community leaders and partners to review the Indoor Recreation Space Needs Assessment Report. And then lastly, golf evaluated several acquisition options for the overdue replacement of the golf cart fleet at Springbrook, determining that transitioning to the entire fleet to electric carts provided lower operational costs, less maintenance, and an improved patron experience. The change to electric carts also supports the district's core values. The introduction of the new electric carts is scheduled to occur this spring. Staff will continue to work towards achieving the goals identified in the strategic plan, as we also prepare to develop the 2026 through 2028 strategic plan later this year. If there are any questions regarding the progress update, we would be happy to address them this evening. The next progress update will be provided in July.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I just have one quick one. Are you able, at the very beginning, you mentioned that you've started implementing kind of steps after the indoor rec space needs. Are you able to give us a couple, because I know that's what a lot of people in the community are super interested in. Are you able to give us any specifics?
Yes.
And or can you talk about next steps as well? I know at the end you had mentioned meeting with community leaders, but I'd love like a teeny more.
Yeah, so one of the steps, as I mentioned, is meeting with different community leaders, partners to share the results of the assessment and to also talk about the potential partnership opportunities. But we're also working on looking at our current schedules within facilities. We have already made some adjustments with Fort Hill Activity Center with scheduling, for instance, open gyms, as well as expanding some of our group fitness opportunities based upon really what we learned as we went through that process. We're also going to be reaching out to community groups, especially cultural community groups within the community, to get a better understanding of recreational interests and needs this year. And then we're also exploring and looking at what are the potential locations within the community, doing a complete evaluation around that to identify where potential future indoor space could be located as part of the continued evaluation.
That's great. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Any other questions? All right, we'll move on to 2025 play equipment purchase order authorizations.
Good evening. Purchase orders to secure play equipment for each 2025 playground renovation project are anticipated to be presented to the Park Board for authorization in the first quarter of 2025. The list of playground renovation projects includes Columbia Commons, Crayler Park, Meadow Glens, Polo Club Park, Rose Hill Farms Park, West Greens, White Eagle Park, and Willowgate Square. The Park District has an opportunity to contract directly with product manufacturers through cooperative purchasing networks. Based on competitive pricing, already set for products and services. This approach will assist in expediting delivery timeframes for play equipment. Residents will have an opportunity to complete play equipment surveys, and the results will help select the furniture of future equipment. Furthermore, staff will publicly bid the construction portions of the playground renovation projects, and the selected contractors will take delivery and install the play equipment. Construction contracts for each playground renovation will be presented for approval at future board meetings. So just an update on that topic.
Great, thanks. Does anyone have any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do have a question. How are those parks selected? Is it a cycle plan, or how did you arrive at those parks?
Yes, so first and foremost, we do have a temporary life cycle of playground replacement of 15 years, but then that is confirmed based on our site inspections from our park staff, recreation staff, planning staff. When we review and inspect play equipment and playgrounds on an annual basis, if we could shift it out, we'll definitely do that, or if we move it up in the schedule, we can do that as well. So we start with 15 years, but it's going to be based on the actual wear and tear on the equipment.
Any other questions?
I just wanted to say, I love that you have the surveys and the QR codes and stuff at all the parks. I actually overheard a parent talking about how cool it was at one of our ribbon cuttings that their ideas were actually implemented into the playground. So it's nice that you guys take so much feedback from the community and then implement them directly back into their neighborhood parks. So it was just a really cool moment that I wanted to share.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 5.3, 2025 door and hardware replacements.
Yes, this is a very exciting one. A contract for the 2025 door and hardware replacements project is expected to be presented to the Park Board for approval at the February 13th, 2025 Park Board meeting. The Trades Division oversees replacement of various doors and associated hardware throughout the district on an annual basis through the annual building capital allowance as part of the capital budget. The scope of work for this project constitutes a portion of that allowance and includes replacement of doors and associated hardware at Mosier Tower and South Maintenance Facility. A total of $80,000 is allocated in the annual building capital allowance for the 2025 capital budget for district-wide door and hardware replacements, with funds available for door and hardware replacements at Mosier Tower within the Recreation Fund. Pending contract approval, work is scheduled to be completed by this summer.
Great. All right, let's move on to 5.4, Commissioners Park East Cricket Field Sports Lighting.
Contract for this project is expected to be presented to the Park Board for approval at a meeting in February, so next month. The scope of work includes installation of LED sports lighting for the East Cricket Field at Commissioners Park. The sports lights will be installed over the existing concrete light bases that were originally installed on site in 2003. Pending contract approval, it is anticipated that the work will occur in the summer of this year.
And their lights are going to be dark sky?
Yes,
Yeah,
they will have shields.
Thanks,
Yeah,
sorry.
good
I'm always
point.
going to ask and be obnoxious
Yep.
about that. Any other questions about that? Okay, 5.5, East Greens Parking Lot and Basketball Court renovation.
A contract for this project is anticipated to be presented to the Park Board for approval in February. The scope of work consists of renovation of the parking lot and basketball court, including demolition, asphalt paving, color coding and striping for the court, site furnishings, and landscape restoration. Pending contract approval, the project work is slated to commence in the summer with the goal to reach substantial completion by this fall.
A quick question on the basketball courts, Eric. I mean, I know over the years we've debated whether it makes more sense to have a full court where people can play a full court game versus the side-by-side half courts, which is more maybe a parent and child just dropping in to playing for a little while. What is this one, and then how do we decide moving forward which ones to put a full court and which ones to kind of do the side-by-side half courts?
Yeah, so this one is a typical rectangular shaped court.
Okay.
As you know, like at Willoway Park, we have the circular court in various dimensions. And the size is based on what we have available in the park, as well if it's a full or larger type park, such as a sports complex, a district park, like Frontier or Commissioners, we're going to have a full-size court, in some cases 2 or 3 courts. So if it's a smaller neighborhood park, it'll be a smaller court.
So basically, we're just replacing what's there now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
All right, 5.6, Frontier Sports Complex Fields 5 and 6 electrical service replacement.
A contract for this project is expected to be presented to the Park Board for approval at the February 13th, 2025 meeting. The scope of work includes installing new electrical cable and conduit from the existing transformer east of the softball field hub to the press box of fields 5 and 6 at Frontier Sports Complex. Due to electrical issues experienced at Fields 5 and 6, the approach of troubleshooting the problem and testing on-site identified that the runs associated with the three-phase electrical service for ball fields was in need of replacement. Last year, in preparation of formulating the 2025 capital budget, staff collaborated with an engineer in order to identify the most cost-effective and overall best approach for replacing electrical cable that services Fields 5 and 6, including related sports lighting and press box at Frontier Sports Complex. Pending contract approval, work is anticipated to be completed spring-summer in a manner that minimizes impact to programming and activities planned to be offered on site.
Great. All right. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to 5.7, fleet vehicle and equipment purchase.
Good evening. At the February 13th, 2025 meeting, Fleet Division intends to seek approval of the purchase of several vehicles and pieces of equipment for use within the Parks Department. As shared most recently at the January 9th, 2025 Parks and Rec Committee meeting, Fleet is looking to acquire 4 Ford work trucks, including 1 F-250 pickup truck, 2 F-350 dump trucks, and 1 F-450 dump truck. 3 of these vehicles were listed in the Fleet Vehicle and Equipment Replacement Plan as part of the 2025 capital budget. The other unit, an F-350 dump truck, had originally been planned for purchase in the last fall. However, due to the inability to secure a dump box for this larger vehicle, its procurement had to be delayed until this year. Multiple pieces of equipment planned for purchase in 2025, including 2 mowers and a large pump, were purchased in 2024 to help accommodate this deferral. Each truck would be purchased from Sutton Ford via a contract awarded through the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative. Staff is also seeking to acquire 2 Toro Workman utility vehicles, also both part of the 2025 Fleet Vehicle and Equipment Replacement Plan. A contract for their purchase was awarded to Reinders, Inc. via the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative. And just with the difficulties we're still experiencing with delivery time of some pieces of equipment, staff wanted to get these orders placed as soon as possible. As we've done in the past, we've placed cancelable orders already, should we not be able to move forward with the purchase. More details will be provided in an upcoming weekly packet.
Great. Do you have a question? Your microphone's on.
Nope.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 5.8, occupational medical services provider.
Good evening. On September 13th, 2024, the district issued a request for proposal for occupational health services, including but not limited to post-offer physicals, CDL and non-CDL drug and alcohol screening, and post-accident medical treatment. We've received proposals from 4 organizations. However, one of the organizations could only provide a very narrow scope of the sought services. In December, a selection committee led by Safety Manager Jennifer Herman was established and included members from multiple departments, bringing diverse perspectives to the committee. The selection committee included representation from HR, trades and custodial, golf, and parks. After a thorough review of the 4 proposals, the committee conducted provider interviews, participated in group discussions, attended facility tours, and completed reference checks. As a result, it is recommended that the district partner with Concentra for our occupational health services needs. The contract has been sent to Attorney Price for review, and I anticipate bringing the contract before you for your consideration at the February 13th meeting. The contract holds fees flat for the menus of services provided for 3 years, and while it is difficult to provide an estimate of the exact annual cost, we do expect that the district will spend in excess of $20,000 annually.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
You know, I have questions. Okay. It's actually really cool. I had been thinking about recently, like if you had ever considered having some sort of occupational health services here. So you said it's, you know, possibly going to save money, and I guess, like, what are you doing right now that's you're trying to get them to do?
So we are working currently with 2 providers to meet our needs. And initially we were working with one, but they were bought out by another company and some of their services were cut. So we had to pivot and find another provider to fill that gap. Following that transition, we determined it was time to take a look at all of the services that are provided and really do a thorough assessment. And we think that we found a very good partner.
Would they be providing services here on like campus, so to speak, or is it like you would go to their labs and their offices for services?
Most of the time, applicants and employees will go to their facilities. They do come out for certain medical testing on site if we would like them to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. Moving on to 5.9, Fairway Mower Purchase.
Good evening. A memo detailing the requested purchase of a fairway mower for Springbrook Golf Course was included in your January 24th weekly packet. As mentioned in the memo, the district's golf courses each require multiple fairway mowers to mow several acres of fairway turf daily. The mower that staff is proposing for purchase, a Toro Reelmaster 5010H, is a hybrid-powered mower, and it provides multiple benefits, including reduced fuel usage, quieter operation, and along with reduced emissions. The district's golf courses have been increasing the use of alternative powered equipment when available, and that helps reduce noise associated with traditional equipment and reduces the use of fossil fuels. Also, using these quieter mowers is important as both golf courses have homes along the property, and we've been working to reduce the impact from our mowers being out early in the mornings taking care of their daily needs. We currently have 3 other Toro 5010H mowers in our inventory, and staff has been pleased with their performance. The purchase price for this mower is $93,348, and that's using the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract, of which the district is a member and we've used successfully in the past. The mower purchase is included in our 2025 golf capital budget, and staff is expecting to include this mower on the consent agenda for the board's consideration at a meeting in February. Pending contract approval, delivery of the equipment is expected later this spring.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. 5.10, Springbrook Golf Course Driving Range Fence Replacement.
Thank you. Also included in the the January 24th packet was a memo detailing the replacement of a fence along the driving range at Springbrook Golf Course. The scope of work for this project includes replacement of an existing split rail fence along the southern end of the driving range that would be replaced with a steel vinyl coated chain link fence. The existing fence is in poor condition, and in reviewing the replacement options, staff determined a 6-foot chain link fence would provide improved separation between the driving range and the first hole at Springbrook, which would help keep errant golf balls on the driving range, and it would also help keep golfers from hole number 1 from entering the driving range area to retrieve golf balls. There is $50,000 allocated for this project in our 2025 golf capital budget, and a contract is expected to be presented to the board for consideration in February. Pending approval, that work is anticipated to be completed this spring.
Great. All right, no questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Moving on to 5.11, Independent Contractor Agreement for Program Instruction over $30,000.
Good evening. So back in December, I brought to you the 2025 independent contractor agreements that we thought would generate payments over $30,000. I have one more to add to the list. The Chicago Fire Soccer program continues to grow, and we are anticipating that this summer during camps that we're going to reach that threshold again. So at the next meeting, I will be presenting this for your consideration.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on to department updates, starting with administration.
Good evening. St. Patrick's Day Parade will be held on March 15th of this year, so please let me know if you and your family would like to march in the parade by February 28th. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is finance.
Good evening. Finance is in the process of closing fiscal year 2024. Jeremy and his team are working to compile and submit work papers to our auditors, and final field work is scheduled for the week of February 10th. We are also in the process of completing our annual review of financial policies. The process begins when staff, our financial experts, and our legal counsel get together. We review those policies and collaborate on the updates that we're going to recommend for those policies. And those draft recommendations will be brought to the Finance Committee first, and then it will be brought to the full board. When we get closer to that date, You'll get a draft of those recommended updates in your weekly packet. And that's all I have for you this evening.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to golf.
Thank you. A few updates from golf. Our 2025 golf capital projects, we have several already underway with contractors now working on the golf clubhouse restroom renovations. This project includes replacing and updating the tile, vanities, fixtures, and lighting in other features in the interior rooms of both clubhouses. The contractor is nearing completion of work at Naperville, and once completed, will begin work at Springbrook. The expected completion date of the project is March 15th, which would be ready for the spring opening of both clubhouses, weather permitting. Work is expected to begin soon on updating the electrical service in the basement at Springbrook Golf Course as staff continues to prepare for the delivery of 60 new electric golf carts this spring. To accommodate all the charging ports for the new electric carts, new branch circuit breaker panels, and wiring to the charging ports will be needed to be installed. That work is expected to be completed in February. Golf staff is currently preparing for our 2025 golf season. In the clubhouses, membership renewal for current members is wrapping up with nearly all of our members renewing for 2025, so that's very good news. Our staff is also sending renewal notices and meeting with several of our leagues and permanent tee time groups in preparation for the 2025 golf season. Managers are now working to interview and hire staff members for both our clubhouses and maintenance staffs. And overall, we are also in the process of hiring for that full-time position in Naperville. The response for the posting was very positive. First round of interviews wrapped up last week, and our second round interviews with 3 candidates are being scheduled. And those interviews will include additional district staff, including the executive and our finance directors. We hope to wrap up those interviews in the next couple of weeks with the goal of having that position filled before the start of the season. And finally, on the maintenance side, the lack of snow cover and the cold temperatures has provided an excellent opportunity for staff to get out on the golf course and do a couple of things we didn't expect we'd be able to. We've been busy with some tree work and some other drainage work that we've had a chance to get to. When the weather forces staff indoors, we've been busy completing preventive maintenance on all golf course equipment and making sure all our mowers are serviced and ready for the upcoming season.
Great. Thank you so much. Moving on to human resources.
So here's a shocker. We're focusing on recruiting. I feel like a broken record at this time of the year, but it is that time of the year. At the recent community job fair, we debuted a new setup for our career and job fair table. With the assistance of marketing, our teams developed a really cool backdrop that highlights all the different areas that we typically hire positions for, and it allows us for changing it up, meaning that we can change the table itself, the items that are on the tables, to correspond with the positions that we are there at that event highlighting. So that was debuted, and it is very cool. If you ever have the chance to see it, take a look. Speaking of the community job fair, there were 1,000 exactly attendees that came through. The weekend of the job fair, when staff got in on Monday morning and logged into our applicant tracking software, we had 70 applications waiting. So it was definitely a success on both fronts, from just overall attendance and to meet our needs. We are planning to have 2 mini pop-up job fairs in March, details to come, but we debuted those last year, and they were great for hiring some of those last-minute positions as we get ready for this summer season. And finally, with the support of IT, 2 training and onboarding stations have been created on the north side of the upper level of the administration building. This space provides an environment that's really conducive to online learning, and it's in close proximity of our talent specialist, Marissa Kula, who oversees these efforts. So she's right there to help people. It's just it's much more professional looking, and we're really excited to be able to use that and appreciate IT's support.
Great, thank you. All right, moving on to IT.
Good evening. I've got a few updates of what's going on in the IT world right now that we're actively involved in. The first one is our annual cybersecurity awareness training. Each year, all employees and commissioners with network or email access complete cybersecurity awareness training. It's a requirement for our cyber incident insurance coverage. and it's incredibly important. About 80 to 90% of all cyber incidents can really be attributed to end user errors with human factors like poor password practices, clicking on phishing links, and accidental data leaks being the primary causes. So this training isn't just a check the box task to get it done for insurance. It really is a critical component of our cybersecurity strategy. Another thing that's going on, we're working on the build out on our upcoming change on our phone system. Preparing for that transition. It's a hosted phone system. Staff is going to be getting additional info in the next couple of weeks, and we're planning a transition in mid to late February. The new system is going to provide a major reduction in administrative challenges, location flexibility for staff, and therefore better availability to the public, and an elimination of significant end-of-life hardware getting rid of it from the old system. And then finally, network upgrades. The stuff that no one ever has any awareness that IT is doing, but we're updating a lot of the back-end network equipment across the district, and that effort is well underway. Along with this, we're preparing updates to district wireless networks to add coverage and function for staff, along with improvements for guest networks where it's applicable. That work will be ongoing for the next several months as we have availability. The existing systems work, so we didn't want to outsource that labor just to fast track it so we could maintain those savings. So.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next up is marketing.
Good evening. I have a few updates tonight. First of all, our 2025 State of the Park District podcast is launching on Monday, February 3rd, so we're very excited about that. 6-episode series on shaping a sustainable future in parks and recreation. So that can be found at napervilleparks.org and also other podcast apps, so please check that out. We have, our drone is up and running, and I know I talked about that last fall and did an earlier update earlier this month, but we are, we're getting trained. We have one staff trained so far. We've got another staff that's taking training and certification later on this year. It's kind of exciting because, as you know, we've been really advancing our social media efforts and doing a lot more with Reels and some really dynamic social media content. So being able to have the drone is going to be able to allow us to do more with that. Do some kind of fun facility and event type videos. We did a social post back earlier in the month about the turf blankets. So I don't know if those of you who attended the session that Eric, Tim, and I presented at conference on Saturday, but we talked a lot about the importance of generating educational content. And so social media and drones and all of that just kind of intersect in our ability to produce more educational content, more informative content for our community, which is a good thing. It's being very well received. In the board packet dated January 10th, there was a memo in there providing an update, a final update for 2024 and our sponsorship revenue goals. Our goal in 2024 was $330,000. We ended with $354,000, and we look to continue to increase that, while also bringing on new sponsors in 2025 and increasing our revenue goal. So look forward to continually improving on that. And then finally, kind of going back to the social media idea, enhancing our video production. I sporadically want to provide the board with some updates on kind of where we are with content and with our goals with that. We are looking forward to using different video reels to capture kind of our unique things that are going on in the community over the course of the year. Again, with the educational content, and then working currently on campaigns for our facilities as we get ready to open those for the coming year, whether it's golf, beach, paddle boats, and looking to do some creative content around that. So you'll be starting to see marketing launch for that for the 2025 season.
That's great. I love using it for educational purposes.
It's awesome.
And
yeah.
I did attend y'all's session, and it was great. I
Thank
learned
you.
so much. No.
Awesome.
You guys did a really good job of explaining how all of it fits together, and I've definitely noticed the drone shots on social media, and I like.
It's kind of fun.
Because I think you did one on the path with Stacy that was in that you guys went above. I think right recently.
I don't know if we used the drone for that one, but yeah,
something was up high.
Yep.
It looks really cool.
It's just another opportunity for us to kind of give a different perspective, and yeah, it's another tool in our toolkit.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Park Police.
There's no report for Park Police tonight.
I assumed. Great, thank you. And Parks is up next.
Hello again. Just a few updates from Parks. With the warmer temps that moved in last weekend, staff did their best to keep the ice rinks open for as long as possible. Unfortunately, all 4 of our sites now have been closed earlier this week. With high temps above freezing predicted over the next 10 days, there's a good possibility that we've reached the end of our outdoor skating season. At this point, there's no benefit to us to shutting things down early, so we'll keep an eye out on the extended forecast and see if conditions change. And as a reminder, our skate season typically ends around mid-February due to challenges related to increasing temperatures and the rising angle of the sun. A few weeks ago, we were approached with an opportunity to mentor a group of high school students participating in the Blast competition. The competition, sponsored by the nonprofit Accelerate Climate Solutions, is a challenge for high school students to develop projects that reduce waste, promote sustainable living, enhance biodiversity, and more, utilizing a variety of disciplines from coding to gardening to art. In this instance, our group was interested in finding alternatives to grass lawns, looking at carpet moss and microclover as potential substitutes. One of our park specialists, Ben Pelzinski, who has his degree in turfgrass management, volunteered to act as their mentor and had his first meeting with them earlier this week. So their written proposals for the competition are due in late March, with participants pitching their projects in April at the DuPage Children's Museum, and we're excited to assist and see what they come up with. This time of the year, out in the parks, when we're not working on snow removal or skate rinks, our crews will transition to complete many of our indoor maintenance activities. Those activities are often focused on extending lifespan of park amenities, such as soccer frames, picnic benches, garbage cans, garden plot stakes, and we're painting, staining, and refinishing whenever possible. We'll also spend quite a bit of time on equipment, replacing parts like gaskets, filters, valves in preparation for the upcoming season. Earlier this month, our Central Parks crew traveled to the local hardware stores to chip up unsold Christmas trees to provide garden plot users with pine mulch for soil amendments. Pine mulch piles are stationed next to our leaf mulch, which is collected by our Riverwalk crews and also used as a soil amendment for the garden plots. We continue to challenge staff to seek opportunities to prolong longevity or to recycle and reuse items as much as possible, and those are just a few examples of their efforts. And finally, Parks welcomed 2 new staff members this week. We promoted Pedro Galde-Dominguez to join our North Parks as a park specialist, and Jack Parker joined Central Parks to fill a park support position. So congratulations to both of them, and we're happy to add them.
Thank you.
Tim, on ice rinks, I know over the years we've had discussion about a refrigerated ice rink, and I've always thought it was a good idea given the number of kids and families we have in the community. Not only that, but the current ice rinks are such a short window. I think Director Schutz might have an opinion on this too, but I'm going to suggest at some point we restart the conversation for next year, if it's not already going on at the staff level, and just curious from your perspective if if you have an opinion on it from a maintenance standpoint, or if you think it's something. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you think it's something we should
It
knock
actually
around.
has been something we've been looking at recently, and I think Director Wilson has something to add on that.
Yeah, one of the projects that we'll be working through this year is looking at the Centennial Park ice rinks and sand volleyball courts that are located down in the detention basin. And as part of that, we are going to have community outreach. We're going to gather community input really on that very topic. So more to come on that topic, and it's something that we're going to explore as we work through that project this year.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know what neighboring communities are doing. I mean, again, it's such a short window, and there's so many people that want it. Obviously, there's a cost against it, but it's something we should maybe knock around, or already knocking around.
I was just looking before we started. It looks like we opened Centennial Beach on the 13th of this month, and then we shut it down just earlier this week to give you an idea of how long it was open for.
Yeah, it's not much at all. All right, great, thanks.
I have a question then also. I've seen places indoors have skating with artificial ice. Is that something now that's progressed enough that we could use outdoors? The artificial ice you've seen like in shopping malls that have indoor skating rinks?
Well, and I think that ties into that refrigerated ice that we're kind of researching right now and looking at different types of options.
Yeah, there's the refrigerated and then the artificial, as you're mentioning. It's not something that we've done a lot of research into, but again, as we work through this project this year and look at ice rinks and gather community input, you know, it's certainly something that we can take a greater look at.
I just wanted to say I made it out to the ice rink this winter. I made it once around and I sat down, but the kids really enjoyed it, and there were lots of people out there. So, you know, it's one of the things I really like about, you know, things in the parks is the community building. So I got to sit there and meet some people who had just moved to Naperville. Their kid was out there in his whole hockey gear. So, you know, they're definitely appreciated.
It's great
so.
to see.
Any other questions? I'm very familiar with the BLAST program, and I'm just thrilled to hear that they asked staff to participate, that you had staff to step up and mentor, and I'm excited to see their final product. That's very cool. I'm really thrilled to hear that.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to planning and development.
I have 2 items for the board this evening. As a step in the capital projects policy, we are in the process of reviewing capital projects and positioning of improvements with the Parks and Recreation Committee. The most recent capital overview document consists of 215 projects and district-wide allowances spanning from 2025 to 2034. The multi-year capital overview document will be included in an upcoming weekly packet in preparation for review and discussion at the February 13th, 2025 Parks and Recreation Committee meeting. The input received will be considered when updating the capital overview document for inclusion in an upcoming weekly packet this spring for review and comment by the entire park board. Next, I'd like to provide a little update on the Studio One building improvements. The improvements and project itself is proceeding as planned. In late 2024, contractors completed the cleaning, remediation, HVAC installation, and most of the general carpentry work, which was completed earlier this month. Staff is currently focusing on the last phase of the work and move-in activities in preparation for reopening the facility in the upcoming weeks or maybe a month or so. More information regarding the reopening of the Studio One building will be shared in upcoming updates. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, recreation.
Yes, well, I will share, as Eric was just talking about Studio One, we're meeting with the instructors and starting to prepare the building for opening. We're hoping mid to late February that we'll be able to open for pottery classes. So we're very excited about that. Fort Hill Activity Center continues to be a busy place with the total membership base now over 8,700 members. I shared a little bit of stats at the Parks and Rec Committee meeting, but just to give you an idea, in 2024 we had over 200,000 unique visits, which is up 19% compared to the prior year. Already this January, we have a 32% increase in track usage. So just the little things, you can see that a lot of people are within the facility. As we close out 2024, I do want to have a final recap of the fee assistance program for the year. The Park District provided assistance to 314 participants in 2024, which is up 32% over 2023. We've had a lot of inquiries coming in already this year, so we're anticipating that that's going to continue to increase as well. One of the things that we're capitalizing on, as Katie mentioned, the fair, we had a lot of applications come in. We have already started the hiring process for concessions, paddle boats, Centennial Beach, swim instructors, so we're already out there and getting ready for the summer season. We are starting Centennial Beach lifeguards. We already have 36 lifeguards coming back this year, so we are super excited about that. That's a great start to the season. And then finally, we're getting ready for garden plots. As Tim mentioned, they're all doing the work, and we're right there behind them, so we'll be ready to open this spring. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Just real quick with the fee assistance program, are we working with the school district at all to get some of that information into the hands of parents and
We do.
kids? Awesome.
We do. And we work very closely with them with the summer day camps as well.
Cool.
So we get it out to the, the different social workers there and everything. So yeah, we try really hard because they're actually the ones who really promote it for us. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, our next regular meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners will be February 13th, 2025 at 7 p.m. here at Fort Hill Activity Center.
Move to adjourn the January 30th, 2025 regular meeting.
Second.
Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.